He just said T.J. McConnell would be a superstar in the '80s. Let's not steer away from that statement.
McConnell, with his defense, his playmaking, his finishing, would
Are you saying
absolutely.
are you saying he could replace John Stockton?
I am guaranteeing it.
Oh my God, that's
I am
crazy.
not
That
only
would've been a good
saying
question.
it. I will.
That's crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Hoop Talk, the podcast. This is episode 7.
Yes,
We
sir.
apologize for the long delay, but we are here at the Camden, downtown Orlando. Shout out my dog Kiera. Make
Shout
sure
out
y'all
Kiera.
follow her page. She is definitely on that influencer journey. So you guys hit that like, hit that follow on TikTok and Instagram. I'll put it right there on the screen for you guys to follow. And once again, shout out to her, man. As usual, it's your boy Hoop Talk Nas, and I'm joined by the usuals. I got Ty Dolla, make him holla,
Yeah,
and
type shit.
Dance will make her dance.
at the other end of the couch, I got my man Pluto,
Yes, sir.
Lando, aka Pluto, and we're ready to get started, man. Once again, we're gonna talk some hoops. We're gonna check it up like we usually do, and we're gonna start with our out of bounds question of the week. Pluto,
Two-part.
lead us off.
Two-part question because we missed 2 weeks.
Two,
So-
1, 2. Those.
There you go. The first question is, what are the 3 traits you guys think are the 3 most important traits for a superstar? And the second one is, if you can grab any player that wasn't a superstar. By superstar, I mean like top 3 ever in their career, who wasn't a superstar in one era, and if you dropped him in a different, where would he be? Like, would he be the number 1 superstar? And I know we have Michael Jordans and LeBrons to deal with, but let's try to keep him out of here.
You want to go first?
Yes, I will go first. 3 traits. I'll say, what did I say earlier? Public perception matters. I guess like the media influence, the name, the brand, that matters. You know what I mean? Like the LeBrons with the sneakers and the commercials, and Stephen Curry with the commercials. All that kind of stuff matters. So the public's perception matters, of course. People have to see you as a superstar. It's like, you got to be Hollywood. Even if you're in Indiana, you got to be Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I think stats, of course, you got to have the stats to boot. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be a league leader in something, or at least one of the league leaders.
Yeah.
You got to be the best at something, or at least one of the best in the league at something. And the third thing, I would say, maybe the attitude. I feel like you gotta have the attitude.
Yeah.
Maybe I think maybe that goes into public perception. So I would say you have to be
I don't
as
think that
close
was
to
going
unstoppable as possible. I think
public
I'll make that my third though. I say you have to be as close to unstoppable as possible. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, I think every player that we would consider a superstar is either unstoppable or as close to unstoppable as you can get.
Okay.
So I think you have to be that. The numbers have to match, and then the public perception has to be there. So I think those are my 3 things. If I had to pick someone that is not a superstar that could potentially be a superstar, random, but maybe John Morant. I don't think he's at a superstar level just yet.
Okay.
I feel like with his athletic ability, he fits into like the '90s era. I forgot
Okay.
I had to put him into an era, so I would say in the maybe '80s. I would put him in the '80s.
Jesus
I think you
Christ.
put him in the '80s. Yeah, I think you put him in the.
Baptize everybody.
No, I think you
bro.
put him in the '80s with his speed, with his athletic ability. He's a little on the skinnier side, which will not work in his favor.
Yeah,
But
everybody used to be swole back then.
yeah, then they used to be pretty rough. But I think he could adapt to that. I don't know if that's allowed in this scenario, but I think he could adapt to that. I think with his athletic ability and he can knock down a shot, I think all that stuff just makes him arguably the best or second and third best point guard of that era. I think personally.
Okay.
For me, it's stats with impact specifically. So, like, I don't know if you remember Devin Booker when the Suns weren't that good. People said he had empty numbers.
Yeah.
I think that's the public perception of him because of that. So I think you have to have some sort of impact on your team, stat wise. I think the next thing is, like you said, some sort of notoriety. Like, you have to have, you have to be perceived in public. Like, people have to talk about you.
Yeah.
You have to be mentioned. You have to be talked about highly. Media has to cover you.
Yeah.
And I think the third part, which goes with that, you also have to be in like usually a very specific market.
Yeah.
You have to play in like the Miamis, the LAs, the New Yorks.
Yeah.
Not always. There's people that supersede it, but for the most part,
Not a lot of Anthony
yeah.
Edwards.
exactly. Anthony
Yeah.
Edwards, not a lot of Shays. You have to play in a big market. Sometimes Yeah, they kind of pull up and
Karl Malone.
Yeah.
Karl Malone.
His-
Yeah, but
Good example.
Utah was a bigger market.
Was it really?
Yeah, compared to now. I think so at least. I'd have to go to numbers.
No, they've been one of those small market teams. They're in that like I think they're in that B
Yeah, I
range.
find it hard to believe that there would ever be a big market, but it's possible.
It's
Time
shout
to
out-
change.
Shout out the Mormons. Shout out.
Mormons. Oh,
That's all I
God.
know. And then for
This
the,
episode is
Yeah, I
sponsored
mean,
by
this-
the Mormons of Utah.
Quaker boys.
shout out John Smith.
Who's John Smith?
They're fucking Jesus.
Oh,
He's the guy that
gosh.
wrote their-
Man,
Goodness.
the F bomb. We're gonna bleep that.
Sorry.
Sorry, YouTube.
Sorry, YouTube as well.
For the superstar, I don't think you guys are gonna like this.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
But on the topic of Karl Malone, I think if you paired him up with TJ McConnell, he would do very, very similar things to the greatest point guard or top 5 greatest point guards ever, John Stockton.
Are you saying
So that's your superstar?
you're saying
Absolutely.
you would put TJ McConnell in the 90s
Man, he's
No,
fun.
with
The 80s.
Karl Malone?
The 80s. 80s.
He's trying to give him that
With
much.
Karl Malone. How long was he even in the 80s? Like when he's drafted? 84?
I think 84.
86?
84, 80.
I guess that's a good
84.
Karl
enough
Malone
time.
wasn't good until like the early
Yeah.
90s.
But John Stockton, I'm talking about John Stockton.
Listen,
he was good
we're
immediately.
changing the
Yeah,
subject and saving him. He just said TJ McConnell would be a superstar in the 80s. Let's not steer away from that
TJ
statement.
McConnell, with his
No.
defense, his playmaking, his finishing, would
Yeah.
Are
absolutely.
you saying he could replace John Stockton?
I am guaranteeing it.
Oh my God. That's,
I am not
That
only
would've been a good
saying
question.
it. I would
that's crazy.
tattoo it. That's
So
how
then, are
certain
you
I am.
also saying that vice versa, John Stockton will be reduced to a role player in this generation?
No, I don't think TJ McConnell gets the right play style that he deserves. I don't think his coaches allow him to be who he
Oh,
is.
okay.
He has no
All
left
right.
hand.
TJ McConnell does not do left
Neither
hand.
does Jalen Brown, yet he
Yeah.
was the Eastern
TJ
Conference Finals
McConnell
MVP.
has a
So,
right hand and he gets 3 steals a game, and that's all he needs.
I feel
That's
like
crazy.
I like that. I like that. I like that. I kind of do because I can see it, but I'm gonna just push back a little because I don't know if you ever heard Gary Payne even said like in his words like he could not guard John Stockton because you're not really guarding John Stockton. You can't even guard someone's passes.
Has Gary Payton ever guarded TJ
But this
McConnell?
isn't about how good. This isn't about how good John Stockton is. We're talking about TJ McConnell.
I'm trying to stay away from that because
we keep trying to save this man.
John Stockton had both his hands, bro.
Yeah, but when has Gary Payton ever in his life guarded TJ McConnell?
I
Gary Payton is
think Gary
shutting
Payne
that
could
down.
probably guard him right now.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't think so.
just playing
Bro.
more fucking left.
Holiday couldn't guard him right now.
Bro,
I don't know if you saw his stats in that series. You should probably go back and check. He played very, very well.
I'm sure there's not a lot of emphasis in like stopping TJ McConnell though. Like
No,
when he
like
goes
game
to
plan.
attack.
Why would you put effort into stopping someone you can't?
Okay.
oh my god.
All right, what's yours? What are your 3 things?
he was not playing around with that. Okay, so for
That's
me,
crazy.
I'm going with superstar traits. I'm going one consistency. I think the consistency of showing up there when you
Damn,
lose.
that's a good one.
That's a good
So,
one.
yeah,
Damn.
I had a lot to ponder
Damn,
on.
I changed.
Yeah, I'm kind of a deep thinker, guys. So consistency. Another thing is work ethic. I know that can kind of tie in with consistency, but you could be consistently doing something and it never turns out your way, which is called insanity. But work ethic. I think the greatest superstars ever added something to their game every like 2 to 1.
Yeah, can we start over? I had bad choices.
Sorry, bud.
I'm sticking with mine and TJ McConnell.
I can draft your players for you, okay? And then the last one, I think we can say leadership, but there's different ways to lead. So having someone who is, I think, a top 3 scorer and also top 3 in like 2 other categories, like 3 categories in general, I think that screams out, you are a superstar. And one person I referenced that I saw become a superstar, because I felt LeBron was kind of already a superstar when he came into the league. So was Michael in a way. So was kind of Kobe. They got that superstar treatment. I think Steph didn't, and then he learned how to become one. The 3 things I saw that he changed was, one, he played a lot more. He was available. Consistency. Another thing was work ethic. He was able to drive to the basket. And the last thing was being able to lead in certain stats. I think he was top 3. He was number 1 in steals, and he was also number 1 in 3-pointers. He also had
No one scoring too.
and number 1 in scoring in one season. So like when you look at what it takes, he was the first unanimous MVP. So that's why I use him specifically because those 3 things took him from being like a good player to like one of the best players in the NBA, if not probably the best season ever by a player.
It's arguable. I
Arguably,
mean,
shooting
he's
wise,
up there as top 2 point guards of all time now.
yeah, you can arguably say he's the best. Arguably,
You could,
You
for
could.
sure.
so you put Magic, and you throw him in
I
the
still got
post.
Magic over him, but
Yeah.
that's a discussion for
It's not
another day.
wild to put either one over each
Yeah,
other.
it's
though.
not.
The thing about Magic is you can throw Magic you can run an offense and throw him in the post, and then who's gonna guard Magic? Yeah. So it's a
Look at
mismatch.
LeBron.
So it was you
Yeah.
said consistency, work ethic. What was the third thing?
Just
Leadership.
leaders.
Leadership.
Being a leader in stats and leadership. Yeah, like being a leader in at least three of the three stats in the NBA, not on your team in the NBA. I think that's what makes a superstar. Yeah.
Who's your player though?
This one's hard for me, even though I came up with it. I think Charles Barkley at one point was, top three. So, but I'm gonna use him. I think
He was an
would-
MVP, so
Yeah. Sorry, guys, but I couldn't really think that deep. But I would go Charles Barkley, and also another one would be Rick Barry. I think Rick
Yeah.
Barry would be really nasty because he was able to get to the basket, create his own shot, and shoot. But the reason I picked Charles is because he's got like a Draymond game, and also like that bruiser get to the basket game. He can create go to the lane. So right now in this NBA, he would be like the perfect four. If you were running
He'd be
like
a better shooting Zion with a post game.
I don't know Rick Barry too well. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He averaged
He was-
30 a game one year.
yeah.
Rick Barry?
Rick
Yeah,
Barry, or
maybe
I
I
might be.
even-
It was over 20. He
maybe
played
I
on the
even know
Warriors
Rick
though.
Barry.
He
is.
played on the Warriors and he also played on the Spurs. He has a brother as well.
Brent Barry.
Yeah.
I might be thinking of Brent Barry actually.
I do know Brent Barry. Yeah,
Yeah, Rick Barry was his
Yeah,
brother. I'm
so
pretty sure
Rick
that's
Barry.
crazy. He averaged 35 points per game.
Yeah, no, he was
Yeah.
nasty, and he
Yeah.
played on the Warriors that
He-
year, right?
He played on the Warriors. Yes.
He would be a superstar
Yeah.
because he has a market. I
Yeah.
guarantee it.
Another guy is because now you got to roll it would be Doug Collins. He was before his time, and Jason Kidd. They were before their times, I think. Those are players I think.
My honorable
Jason Kidd
mentions.
was
I think
superstar,
Sean
though.
Kemp would
Yeah.
be a monster.
He
in
would
this,
be
in this time.
perfect, bro.
I
in
think
that
he would
Dallas,
be like a Blake Griffin type. Even,
Yeah.
maybe even better. I think
Yeah.
Deadlift Shrimp would be phenomenal.
absolutely,
I don't
yeah.
know if Superstar would be his peak,
Yeah.
but I think he would be.
Petrovic, Drazen
I think
Petrovic,
he'll be much better.
Yeah.
Petrovic would be dope. Yeah.
You can-
AK-47.
I mean, superstar is a tough term to know, but stars. I think they would be
Yeah, I
stars.
think they'll
for
be
sure.
stars. I think a lot of guys that were great shooters back then
Oh, man.
and great ball handlers would do very well now.
Reggie
I feel like
Miller.
that wasn't really
Yeah, Stojakovic.
good
I got
back
one.
then.
I got one. Michael Redd.
Michael Redd. Yeah.
He was before his time. A lot of the players I'm like
Michael Redd was on the verge though. I think injuries slowed him down.
Yeah, he was on the Bucks with Ray Allen, right? They're
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Or shortly after, around there, yeah.
Yeah,
They were on the team together, I think. He was also on there with Brandon Jennings too.
yeah,
He had the Middleton type game.
Yeah, he was raw for sure.
yeah, yeah. He was also one of the first scoring guards.
Yeah.
He's one of the first ones that actually was a point guard who scored.
Those,
Ray Allen, which is crazy, actually.
but those are good. You guys let us know in the comment section what are your 3 traits that make a superstar, and then tell us what player would you be able to switch from one generation to the other, and you believe he would turn into a superstar because of the
Yeah.
skill sets that he possesses.
For sure.
But moving on, we got a few hoop topics for the day. A few things have happened since. Actually, low key, the basketball world has been a little quiet since the last time. I think it's really just been anticipation for this finals matchup. So that's how we're going to cap off the day. But I figured this is a perfect opportunity with not so much happening in the mainstream basketball world. Perfect opportunity to bring in some local basketball stuff. First thing I have on my list, and we'll kind of breeze through a little bit, but the FBA is actually in negotiations to host the either the first game 1 and game 2 of the FBA finals in Key West. That is the goal.
Wild.
I'm definitely
Um,
going if you get
Yeah,
there.
that is the goal. If it's not game 1 and game 2, then it would be game 2 and game 3. It just depends on how everything works out. But all the teams are preparing for it, starting to put their money together. It will have to be a weekend stay, of course. I already hit up my family in Miami. I'll be staying there for a day, then going to Key West, and I have a whole family vacation planned out and everything. So hopefully it does work out, man. It'll be dope. They're going to be doing radio ads, posters everywhere. There's this organization.
Wow.
I don't recall the specifics of the
Tyler,
organization.
we out.
Yeah.
Because he wants to go with his family.
But it was
Key West?
it was the benefits of the Adidas deal. That is what struck the conversation, and
Fire.
it's going to be dope to see that happen. And it might just be the biggest crowd the FBA has put together in a long, long time. So we'll see how that works out. That being said, as well, in the same fashion of the FBA, we have the playoff matchups already set. There is still one game left in the regular season, but regardless of how those games turn out, the playoff matchups have already been set because it doesn't matter who wins or loses. Everybody is going to play the same team regardless. And it will be the Winter Park Storm versus the Claremont Crocs in the first round, which is one game elimination. And then my Volusia County Serpents would take on the Florida Flight. Only thing that can change in that seeding is who will be the second and third seed. If the Serpents can blow out the Flight, then we would be the second seed, and they would be the third. That's the only thing that could change. If we don't blow them out, and we can, if we win, and we don't blow them out, then we'll be the third seed. Um, and if we lose, then of course we'll just be the third seed. But
Yeah.
How you feel about that rematch? This is
um,
your first time playing them since the Kia Center game, right?
So I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna send this video directly to Mark King so he can listen to this part, man. But he's definitely gonna try. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Brandon Body Bag Moss
Yeah, Brandon Moss.
Ball's Life. Yeah, he's definitely gonna try and bring him for that game if he's available. I think he's in Florida right
Is
now.
he a part? Is he on the roster
Yeah,
now?
he is. He's been on the
Oh,
roster. He's always been a
Lord.
Florida Flight player, but because of all the stuff that he's been going on with him, he's popping off on social media. He's
Keep doing
involved.
that. Skip the game.
He's on Ball His Life and everything. I think he was just playing overseas the last few months as well, so he hasn't been available to come back and play. He hasn't played for them in a couple of years. I think the last time he played for them was 2021, but he's always been a Florida Flight faithful. So if he is available, he will play. So I will say I'm not looking forward to that. He is a problem, despite all the social media hype and gimmicks and stuff. He is a legitimate basketball player. Like he can hoop for real, for real. So I'm not looking forward to that whatsoever. Do I think we can beat them for sure? I think they're going to be a tough matchup though, because with Grant Gullett and Brandon Moss, that would be tough. That's going to
What's
be.
the secret to beating them? What are you guys telling your guys that they got to focus on?
I think we gotta just make sure the role players don't become an option. I think Grant, uh, he is likely to have a good game, but with Brandon Moss added to that, I'm curious to see how well he will adjust just in a last minute type of thing. So I think the biggest issue is Brandon Moss. If we can contain him from getting people involved, because he is an avid playmaker as well, because he draws so much attention. He's so athletic and so explosive. He draws so much attention. He loves to kick it out. He loves to find the open shooter. So if we could just stop the role players and if we could just stay home and make sure that Brandon Moss is trying to do it all by himself, then we win that game. If Brandon Moss, if he's there, if he's not there, this is where my cockiness comes in. If Brandon Moss is not there, we win this game by 25 easy. They were not supposed to beat us at the Kia Center, plain and simple. They are a great team with Brandon Moss. They are much better. They have this one dude, I can't remember his name, but I'm going to look it up and I'm going to put him up on the screen because he's a hooper too. Definitely an MVP candidate this year. I think Rodriguez is his last name. Maybe I could be wrong, but if I'm wrong, I'm gonna put it up on the screen anyway. They are great players, much better team, but I just don't see it. In my personal opinion, we were not good that game. We were not good to start the season, and they took advantage of it. So I think it's a 25-point win easily. We beat them by 25 plus every game last year. We could do it
Yeah.
again this year. So
Who do you think takes the other game?
the Storm and the Crocs.
Storm's
The Storm.
undefeated.
The Storm are
The
gonna.
Storm have been playing nasty.
The Storm, yeah, the Storm have always been a good team. They just did not have the level of commitment that they have this year. It's the same players for the most part. They added pieces here and there.
Did they add people from the Royals?
They added
feel
Ivan.
like
Yeah,
that.
they added Ivan Smith and Tyler Johnson. I don't think Tyler Johnson was there on Saturday though. But Ivan Smith. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Ivan Smith was on the Warriors though. He's a pro player. I think he was playing overseas last year.
He took a fly
They
too.
added Aaron Fair, I think is his name. He's phenomenal. He was at a showcase recently that the Serpents went to.
Yeah.
And the NBA agent that was there, she loved him. That was her favorite player, and rightfully so. He's just such a fundamentally sound player. He just makes the right reads, makes the right passes, makes the right moves, shoots the right at the right time. You know what I mean? Like he's no shot ever seems forced. No drive ever seems unnecessary. Like everything he does it with a purpose. So he's a great player. And he's young too. But they added a bunch of pieces, but it's more their commitment level that changed once all their guys bought in. This is what the Storm was always supposed to do. Honestly,
That's awesome.
they were the only team that gave us a run for our money last year. We lost to the Lambs, which is normal. Everybody lost to the Lambs, and then we lost one game to the Crocs. That wasn't really supposed to happen. You know, we're 4-1 against the Crocs, so that's not an issue for us. But
Yeah, Enrique.
it happens, you know what I mean? It happens for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the Storm were the only team that really gave us a run for our money. Because we beat the Royals twice last year. We beat the Crocs once and we lost once.
Yeah.
We beat the Flight twice last year, and then we lost to the Lambs. But yeah, they were always supposed to be this good. That's pretty much what I'm getting to.
It just finally came together.
Yeah, it just finally came together.
They look like a very cohesive unit.
Yeah.
They run the out of every game I've seen so far, they consistently run the most plays.
Yeah,
They run set
They
offense
run
often.
sets often, for
That's
sure.
actually good. It's better to run sets than plays.
Yeah, they run sets often, and their players are very good to plug in and listen and do what they're supposed to do. Like Aaron hit a bunch of corner threes. I don't know you know him by name, but if I could remember his number, I'll tell you. But light skinned dude, I think he had a headband on.
Yeah. He was
He hit a lot of corner threes.
he wasn't on the Lambs last year? Or not yeah, he was I thought he was on the Lambs last year.
No, he was not on the Lions last year.
Looks so familiar. He's in both games that I've been to so far, he has looked great every time.
Yeah, he's a very good player for sure.
Big too, athletic. It helps.
Yeah.
I think our Serpents are getting it together now. I think we lost that game, but we played good basketball. That's what I told them in our group chat. Like we lost the game, but we played good basketball. Not every loss means you played bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes the other team just played better. They were knocking
Yeah.
down all their shots. We didn't execute how we should have. We helped when we shouldn't have. That gave Aaron a lot of open shots. That gave the big man a lot of open threes. So like, there was a lot of opportunities that we could have done things differently, but we played great basketball. Our defense was phenomenal down the stretch, which is always something you want to see.
Yeah.
We were down by like 15, and we got the game close to by 2. You know what I mean? And we ended up losing by 10, but we executed well down the stretch, and played good basketball. I think if we're playing this way, we're championship bound. I think our coaches found the unit that is going to win us games when it matters. Um, and we'll see. We'll see what happens in Key West, I guess.
Sure.
Hell yeah, brother.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But on other news, a few things are happening around the world of basketball as well. Talking about the World Cup, Giannis is going to be playing for Greece at the qualifiers.
Is Giannis playing? What is
Thanasis.
The
I would
Nats.
imagine. Actually, he tore his ACL recently, or his Achilles.
He tore his
Yeah.
ACL when he wasn't playing. He was practicing for the Greek squad, I think.
Maybe, yeah, I think so. Yeah, he tore his ACL recently.
love
I
to see
remember
him
I
in the
made a
Olympics.
joke. I remember I made it.
I thought he was going to say I would love to see him get injured. I was like,
Nah,
what?
I would love to see his trash ass in the Olympics.
Nah, he
He's actually
plays.
not that bad.
He's not at all. But in the Olympics, I mean, like in foreign play. But I actually just made a joke recently in my group chat how Giannis had to pull strings for them to report that he tore his Achilles. Because they were not going to report that. I promise you.
Is he gonna be on the roster next year for the Bucks?
Absolutely.
As
He's gonna
long
be
as
on there.
Giannis is on there.
Bro, if they keep that, man.
Speaking of Antetokounmpo, though, I'm sorry to cut you off. Kostas Antetokounmpo
What?
just won a championship.
Yeah, the European
EuroLeague
League.
Two-time
championship.
champion now. Lakers.
Wow.
and,
Yeah, he won a
Euro.
championship with the Lakers, and he won a championship in the
I
EuroLeague.
forgot he won
He's
with
on that
LeBron.
20 team.
He had so much upside. I'm surprised.
He did. I did like him.
Yeah,
I
me
liked.
too.
I liked his
Alex
potential.
too. Alexander Kupo. All of them.
They're
Other
like
than
what,
Thanasis.
6'11"? They're all like 6'11", 6'8".
Bro,
They had
Alex
that
is like a
game.
shooting guard.
It's just none of them has that like motor like Giannis does. Motor like in a sense of like Giannis is like a pogo jumper. Like he'll go up and grab the offensive rebounds. He's got a quick first step, and he also has a really good ball handle. But I think they all do. But I think size and strength and no Diddy
IQ as well.
girth. I don't think he's smart. I don't think Giannis is that smart at all.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think of the passes that he makes. Man, let's not do this take. But the passes that he makes is because he's forced to make them.
I'm
I
talking
don't
about
think-
defensive, though. He has good eye.
Do you have to be smart to play defense? That should have
Absolutely.
been the question of the day.
I have a perfect answer.
Yes,
because
100%.
I don't think so.
Andre Drummond is a perfect example. He has all the tools. Just
Yeah.
never worked out defensively.
100%. You don't think you have to be smart to play defense? 100%.
I don't-
You got to.
I don't think Dennis Rodman's that smart. He's
I
all-
think,
that's
I think,
really
I
wrong.
think Dennis Rodman is one of the smartest defenders the league has ever
He
seen.
matches with two skills. I think you have to be smart to do that. Rebounding and defense?
They go hand in hand. That's how you.
No, I don't think so.
I-
It helps, though.
When you're talking about defensive trophies, defensive rebounds, it's a defensive stat.
Yeah.
So they kind of go hand in hand. So I mean,
But he
that's
was
just my
also a
opinion.
good offensive rebounder too. So
Yeah, I mean, he was just a good rebounder. Period, though.
yeah, but no, you definitely need brains to be a good defender because you got to be able to help correctly. You got to be able to understand, what the rotation is. You got to
Read the play,
understand
what they're
So you
going
all think
for.
Kawhi is smart?
Absolutely.
100%,
Man, I don't
100%.
He's
think
also a
Kawhi
really
is
good
that
offensive
smart.
player,
Have you guys
though.
seen his offense?
It's great.
Yeah.
He has 3 spots. He hits every single
That's
game.
what
Wait,
I'm
who we
saying.
talking about? Wait, who are we talking about?
Kawhi.
Kawhi.
You're saying he's not a smart offensive
I
player?
don't think he's that smart.
Oh, I think he is.
What?
He's not a good passer at all.
You don't have to. I
Well,
don't
that
think
doesn't have to do anything.
that's
with
a
his
skill. I don't think
smart.
that's
Whoa.
knowledge. I think that's skill.
I think passing is literally hand in hand with IQ.
What makes a good
No, but
passer?
but there's different levels of smart for every skill that you have. You
That's
can
true.
be a smart
That's true.
defender and you can be a dumb passer. You know what I
True.
mean? Like that's
True.
a possibility.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All around smart. Then again, bro, like you're saying, you could be one half, like you know what I'm saying, and be good
Yeah.
at one thing.
I think it's a legal requirement to play for the Spurs. You have to be smart, though.
That's different. I think
do
they
think
make you
it's
take
like
an
A
IQ
legal
test.
requirement.
I think so.
Between the Spurs and the Heat, they don't play that dumb stuff.
Yeah, you're not messing around.
But
at
that
all.
brings us back to Giannis. I think Giannis is a smart player. And of course, he makes dumb decisions here and there, but that's just basketball.
Yeah.
Now, to add to the whole Greek team thing, do you think the Greek team qualifies? You think they're good enough?
Nah.
I think the Olympics is pretty.
I don't
stacked.
think they've missed
Stat team,
any
bro.
year with Giannis on the roster.
That's true.
But
Yeah, Papa Giannis is good too.
Is Luka?
I think Kufa's.
Luca is.
Yeah.
Luca wants to play. I don't think he's made up his mind yet.
If he plays,
It's shortly after the finals, though, too,
Yeah.
and also he has a leg issue that he's dealing with, the knee issue, I think it is.
so he might not play. But if he plays, he low key can win that whole thing by himself, man. I'm a Luka believer now.
Do you think Giannis?
Against the Avengers?
I mean,
No.
the Avengers need to go get Kyrie and drop because Jalen Brunson no longer can play, right?
The Avengers could drop players
Jalen
if they
Brunson
wanted
broke his
to, and they
hand.
would still win.
Yeah, but Jalen Brunson broke his hand, so he can't play no more, right?
I don't think they've announced it yet, but it's probably leading that way.
Yeah, I think Kawhi
Oh.
and Embiid are also questionable.
Yeah, I think they're going to
I hope
see
not
what
Embiid.
happens.
I hope not Embiid.
No, because he also has issues. He
No,
has a
I
leg
do
issue.
hope
He has-
Embiid. I don't think I don't think it's a fit. I don't like it. It doesn't make
Him and
sense.
Anthony Davis together, bro?
No, I'm not talking about the players. I'm saying like Embiid's, like African. You know what I mean? Like
No, he plays. He decided.
No,
to,
I know
yeah.
he's eligible and all that, and I know
Yeah.
he's he went to Kansas and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm just saying it's weird. I don't
What
know.
what are you trying to get at?
I'm not gonna say it because it's gonna sound terrible. I'm
Nah,
just saying.
say it.
No, I'm just saying. Like it should just be just
American players.
American players. Yeah.
Wow.
My boy is.
I'm just saying,
That boy
but
American.
I'm just saying, but isn't that logical though? Like I don't like. I'm just saying. That's just me.
Well, then Kyrie should not be able to play for the
Australia.
US.
Well, he was born in
I
Australia.
never say he should.
He was
Okay.
born in Australia.
I just got to make sure.
But Kyrie is a little different though, because Kyrie spent his whole life, or the majority of his life, in America. You know what I mean? So, like,
But Embiid spent more time in America than he did in
Nah,
Cameroon.
boy.
but he was raised in Cameroon though.
In
He-
But he
France.
spent more time of his more of his life here.
I think
yeah,
France
that's
was the
true.
longest one, though. To be honest.
It could have been France because he
Yeah.
did come.
No,
he
he
came
went-
before high school.
He went to Montberg.
Yeah, and then he went to Kansas.
Yeah.
I have a question with this though. Do you think Giannis should play for Greek?
Why
Yes.
not? Is there something
With all
wrong?
the time he's missed injury, don't you think it's better to maybe rehab this summer? He's missed in the last 4 playoffs. He's missed at minimum 1 game every
The
playoffs.
thing about
How much effort does he
every
really have to
series.
put into these Olympics for real?
but it's Giannis. That's all he
It's
is.
less time to
That's
rehab.
his
though.
game. His
'Cause
effort.
remember, he did just get injured.
Yeah,
That's true.
And he had a weird injury. Like
Yeah.
I think they downplayed that injury by a lot.
I think they downplay every injury.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that he hyperextended his knee the way he did versus
The way he
Suns.
grabbed like this.
Yeah,
like this.
he made a 7 with his leg. I've never seen it in my
Oh,
life.
that's flexibility. I was talking about when he was walking up the
Oh.
court. That's just flexibility. Some people are hyper flexible. And he's also he seems like one of those people that would stretch.
It's
and stuff like-
elastic.
Yeah, I mean, look at his body type though. He's very wiry. Like
Yeah.
even when he's like a big bulky dude, he's still wired. But what was I gonna say, bro? The whole with the Embiid thing and the Kawhi. I don't want Kawhi to play at all. I'm a Kawhi hater. I'm not gonna lie. I'm with Stephen A. Smith on that.
I recognize
He's
your hater.
the worst superstar.
When you said that he was
NBA
dumb.
history.
You told me he's dumb. I'm like, I know you hate him. You
I
have to hate him.
also, this was crazy as I hate him, but also he's one of those players that you hate him when you're against him, but you love him when he's with you.
I would love if he was on
Yeah,
any
man,
team.
I'm not gonna lie, man. If he was on that Heat team, I would not hate him at all. He stopped LeBron from winning another Finals MVP back to back. That's why I really hate him. With a three-peat.
I would have
LeBron's
3-peated.
three-peat, yeah, stopped it.
And Tim Duncan, to be fair.
Man, Tim Duncan was washed by then. It was mostly Kawhi.
Yeah,
I think the
some
first
credit there. Just a little
It
bit.
was definitely a team effort for sure.
think he played better the first time he played the Heat versus the second time. I think the second time
That's
he was a
right,
little
though.
older.
Statistically, yeah.
Yeah, wait, he was way more unstoppable like that first time. They couldn't like he was like damn near Dirk to them. That was like their biggest kryptonite. The Heat was a
That bank
really good
shot,
big man.
Jesus Christ.
Bread and butter.
But moving on, did you guys see the battle between Stephen A. Smith and Monica McNutt?
I caught it.
She's right though, and what Shannon said after is right too. Like we don't have to pretend that we're watching the WNBA before this. We really don't. But like she was right. Stephen A. Smith did have the platform where he could have spoke about it before. Like you don't have to pretend. Just say that
yeah?
you're tuning in now.
No,
Oh,
facts.
yeah, it took
I'm gonna
me.
put it. I'm gonna put it up on the screen so you guys can watch the little battle that they had on TV.
Yeah.
But
We're talking about them maximizing their great potential. And because we bring that up and talk about what potentially might get in their way, which we do to men all the time, now we got to sit up here and watch every syllable. I resent that, and I'll leave it
All
at
right,
that.
so let me. I know we gotta go to break. Welcome to the world of being a woman, Stephen A. And how you have to dance about your word choice and you have to please everybody and anybody as you navigate your being. We are talking about the world's greatest.
How about being a
athletes
black
and-
man?
Okay,
Being black.
hold on 1 second.
Have you?
So this is what I'm saying to y'all though, and I know we gotta go to break. And we didn't necessarily go there, maybe we should. There are so many layers in this conversation around the way that it's being discussed. When you no. And yes, Shannon, I know y'all are gonna say you know, and Stephen A, I know you just shared that you have talked about the WNBA on your program too. You guys may not have said everybody, but the prevailing sentiment for folks that are just joining the WNBA and following women's sports is unfair to the women of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Caitlin Clark to come in and now take it to the next level. That's all I'm saying in these conversations. Kennedy Carter's behavior is not indicative of the entire league. We are still talking about competition where you are allowed to get a little extra elbow in if you are competing and you do it within the parameters of the game. The game is physical. Caitlin is helping to grow the league. These women understand that, but she cannot be babied as a rookie. That's all I'm at.
All right.
Who talks about the
Let's go to break.
about the WNBA? Who talks about women? Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A, respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Wow.
All right, we got to go to you
Wow.
guys.
So did you
You
say
know
that
you're my
shows?
guy, but
Who does more than
Stephen A,
us?
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the
Oh, my
power that
Lord.
you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
It's,
Okay.
It's
All right, let's
I got it.
You're my guy, but
I
I'm
got
talking
it.
to you.
guys,
I got it.
guys. I really appreciate
you my girl, but you've missed a lot of episodes of First Take. You missed a lot.
Stephen A,
Guys.
3 years
I'll
ago,
leave
you
it
would
at
not
that.
talk about the
Go
W
ahead,
at this
Mom.
level. Don't do that. Come on now.
Guys.
Nobody was, Monica. You making Stephen A's point, Monica. Monica, you
gentlemen,
making
please
Stephen
let
A's
me do my
point.
job. Please let me do my job. We've gone for 40 minutes straight. It was a riveting discussion. I have to get into commercial break.
But yeah, I agree. I don't have much to say about it, but I do agree. I think Stephen A. definitely does have the platform to address these things. I think a lot of these media outlets have the platform. I just, at the end of the day, it's a ratings game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, if this topical conversation isn't bringing us the ratings that we want, why are you wasting a segment on it?
That's
you know what
literally
I mean?
what it is.
So,
Yeah.
well,
And yeah, go ahead, my bad.
no, that's it. I'm just saying, I agree. I agree with both parties. I understand both sides of
Yeah.
it, but it's like, let's not act like, anybody wanted to talk about the WNBA.
Yeah.
Even now, I love the hype behind it, but like
We're not watching
It's not
'cause
the
it's
easiest,
Taurasi.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's another topic that I have for today, so I won't dig into it right now. But yeah, you can go on.
I was gonna say, I think Monica McNutt is wrong for the way she went about it. Because when I was watching
Absolutely.
it was kind of like Monica McNutt. I did not know she played professional basketball.
She's one of the
I
go-to
didn't
college.
even know who Monica McNutt
I
was
had to
until
do
that
some
moment.
research,
Like,
yeah. Little
no
research.
offense, I'm just saying, but it's just
Yeah.
a fact. You know what I mean? I'm just
He
saying.
even said it. Maybe if you would show up to work, I was like, oh, he ain't playing. But I was gonna say I think she's wrong for the way she did it because obviously we all know no one was talking about the women NBA until this year. That's not just Stephen A. Smith. That's just because you guys haven't generated. When I say you guys, I'd be feeling bad, but they haven't generated enough media influence to people for people wanting to watch it. We just saw a Fevers game sold out at 10 a.m. Like that is something that's possible. That's not because of the players beforehand. That's not because of Lisa Leslie. That's not because of any great. And that's not to like we don't say that about like Kareem or Will. We don't shame them. They're goats. We know that they're the reason that these players are here. But I just felt like when she shaded Stephen A. Smith, it was more like I'm tired of talking about her. And her stance on it is that she's not getting bullied. But like at the same time, I feel like she's getting bullied, and I also feel like this is the topic because I read the thing. I don't really want to go too deep dive into it, but at the same time, I just feel like there's a lot of like what's the word I want to use? Gatekeeping between like women NBA, and you can see the jealousy, bro. You can see the hate, like and it's not just like from current players. It's also the old players getting on podcasts saying all these things, these negative things, and because that's what the argument was about. Was like we weren't talking about the women NBA, beforehand, and she took it to a point where like you weren't even caring about it. But man, you don't talk about things unless they have a purpose or it has viewers. You're
But
on.
I think the issue there, though, Stephen A. Smith was talking like he was talking about this.
Yeah.
Or it was something that should have been brought up before.
He couldn't defend
But
it.
I'm sure
because
there's
it's true.
plenty of segments in the past where he talked about
Yeah.
WNBA. It's not like Stephen A. Smith has never in his life
Yeah.
mentioned WNBA. You know what I mean? It's just he could have mentioned it more.
And
I was
on top
just
of
saying,
that-
his issue with... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you...
I was gonna say on top of that, like he covers girls basketball. Like he's covered girls basketball coaches before. He's talked about the Huskies and how great that coach is. We don't talk about the women NBA player because we haven't had that player to talk about. We haven't had someone where we're like, oh, I can't wait till he goes to the NBA or she goes to the NBA. We love college basketball and we keep up with basketball since these guys are all the way in like high school. I think the only girls player right now that we've watched since high school is Juju. And Juju's our LeBron. That's the LeBron of their league. And, it's going to take some time. And I just feel like Monica McNutt obviously that was not a professional thing to say. Like, on air, I think it's kind of like putting your boss, because that's her boss at the end of the day. That's putting her boss, like, airing your boss out in a dirty way. Like, you're trying to make it seem like, oh, he never gave a crap about anything.
I don't disagree with her take. I think her take was valid because he was talking in a way where he was surprised or he was upset that the WNBA wasn't being talked about as much. And I understand it's he still gets guided on what he should be talking about.
Yeah.
But the way he's talking now doesn't match how he was talking about them before. He's talking now like he was always an advocate, always a big advocate for the WNBA, where he's not. And people weren't. And it's all right to admit that.
Yeah.
Just don't pretend like you are. And I think that was her issue. He was pretending like he has always been.
Yeah.
But he's not. Maybe there's better ways to do it. Maybe not on air and your
Definitely
boss.
not on live TV on the biggest sports network ever.
Yeah, we can admit it. I watch the WNBA now. I watch a ton of games. I got
Yeah.
the League Pass.
We have
the
the
product
on the podcast.
Yeah, bro, the product that they put out still sucks. It's still not good. You see shadows on the court.
I'm not
You
watching
have-
a 10 a.m. game.
Yeah, you have the color commentators. They're talking. They're not giving you anything. They're just the
Yeah.
most boring people. The commercials are boring.
Yeah.
But like, I want to see the product survive, so I watch it, and that's what he's doing now.
Yeah.
He just wasn't doing it before, so don't act like you are.
But
That's-
let's just be real, bro. We're watching it for like 2-3. Like we're not even watching. We weren't watching it for Asia. We weren't watching. We were watching it because we have this new, like you said, new style of basketball with Angel Reese being like the first, not the first, but a point forward. We don't really see that in women's basketball. And on top of that, now we have Caitlyn. That's literally Steph. Like we've never seen a girl play like her. I don't care. People be like Sabrina. Sabrina wasn't like an oversized play. She's an oversized point guard for the women NBA. She's 6'1". She's blocking big men. If you watch her this season, it's like we've never seen something like that. That product we haven't had in the women's NBA. For the longest, we were waiting for. What was that big girl? Brittany Grinder. When she was dunking, we were blown. I think that got us. That got like a little bit of coverage. You know what I'm saying? But like, you can't. That product hasn't. Like you said, product hasn't been an efficient product or something that you would want to go home to.
It's not, like I want to enjoy it, but it is very,
Hard
very
watch.
hard
Yeah.
to enjoy it.
YouTube games with better highlighting.
That is a good segue to my next topic in regards to Angel Reese. She had mentioned that one of the big reasons we're watching women's basketball now is because of Caitlyn, because of her. I'm sorry, because of her too. And because the word is it's just because of Caitlyn, blah blah blah. And I have an opinion, but I'll save my opinion for last because I feel like it's going to be controversial. What do you guys think about that? Is she truly one of the reasons why we're watching women's basketball?
I do think people do watch for her. She brings celebrities, absolutely. She has a lot of followers on Instagram, but all of the games that have sold out this season were Indiana Fever games. So when the Indiana Fever played with Chicago, the game sold out. I don't believe, and I checked yesterday, so I may be wrong because I think there's a game tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
No other game has sold out that was not Indiana Fever.
Yeah.
Even the LA Sparks game So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think that she's bringing people, but just not to the magnitude of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. And honestly, my take on it, I'm kind of like a devil's advocate with it. I feel like Angel Reese, um, man, I'm gonna sound mean to this the way I said it. It's like Game of Thrones. Like I don't think she knows this is about the story, not about the character. And we're not watching the woman NBA. Yeah, we're watching it, for Caitlyn and Angel Reese, but really the reason we watch the NBA is because of stories. Like right now, what's the biggest story with the NBA Finals? Kristaps Porzingis being on the Celtics, and now Kyrie being, and they both used to like. It gives me goosebumps because that's a story. We haven't had a story like that in a long time. Or Kawhi going to take Toronto the first year he was there, all the way to the, you know what I'm saying? And that's a narrative is very important when it's an entertainment product at the end of the day. And I don't think Angel Reese understands her role yet. And she was kind of doing it in college too. She had an issue with understanding who she is. And even at the stats, we take the stats, stats are stats. She's having a better season than her statistically. And she's always been a better player than Angel Reese. I think in any other draft, Angel Reese is probably the best player in any other class. But it's kind of like, I'm not saying she's bitter, but I don't think she understands
Angel
how to
Reese.
market.
It's not like Angel Reese was a second pick. She was an eighth pick.
That's not
Chicago picked somebody before they picked her.
Hype her up, guys.
Angel Reese is great. She's just not
Listen,
top
I
three.
hate to interrupt, but
Yeah.
my take is these women in the WNBA are just a bunch of haters. Plain and simple.
They are.
It doesn't matter how they look at it, and I listen. I get it. Half of them aren't even going to see this. But at the end of the day, ladies, we are watching because of Caitlyn.
We like a good villain.
We are watching.
Love a good
We
villain.
are watching because of Caitlyn.
I also like
Caitlyn-
Cameron Brink, to be fair. That's it.
Yeah, of course. But like
That's
there's fans that watch for individual players. Cameron Brink is my favorite player because I'm a Sparks fan by default as a Lakers fan.
Shout
you know
out to
what I mean?
Brooks, the quietest rookie season ever. I love it.
But that's just random, right?
Yeah.
So we're watching because of Caitlyn. Caitlyn brought this hype with her. You know what I mean? So like all this roughing her up that they're doing and all this extra stuff, I love it. It's competitive basketball. At the end of the day, I gotta come and I gotta do my job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you gotta admit, ladies, you hating a little bit. You know what I mean? Like
It's
you hating.
obvious.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's
Talk
just
about
extra. It's all extra. Like we
Yeah.
are watching because of Caitlyn. That's the take. It doesn't matter what you think, what you want. It doesn't matter how great Asia is. It doesn't matter that Diana Taurasi just had a 30-point game. It doesn't
40
matter.
years old.
It doesn't matter that Asia just had broke some sort of record.
Bro,
It
she's
doesn't-
had 6 25 and 10 games, but it's Caitlin Clark.
Exactly. It doesn't matter that Enrique's leading the
Yeah.
league, averaging 27 points per game. It doesn't matter that Ezzy is averaging 3.5 blocks. All
Go
that
ahead.
stuff
Go
doesn't
ahead.
matter.
Go
You know
ahead.
what I mean?
Even that the Sky game, the center, the big girl who played,
Cardoso.
yeah, it was her first game, and it wasn't about her. It was about Caitlyn and Angel Reese, that storyline. And my bad, no, I was about to cut you off, but it's about storylines, right? Narrative. If Angel Reese can learn how to be a villain, but be like a cool villain, like a KG, like those villains that we respect, I think she has a way to expand who she is and her product, and she can reach, I think, more men. Because men we love Draymond. Well, we love to hate Draymond mostly. You know what I'm saying? But some people can't deal with that kind of.
I think that's what she's trying to do. I think she's leaning into being the villain.
Yeah.
I think you need to, because she is very,
good
very,
villain.
very relevant
Yeah.
to this rivalry that they have.
On an influential
you don't,
level.
You don't have this level of knowledge about Caitlin Clark, I think, without her. I will say that. I just think people are tuning in because of how good Caitlin Clark is.
I'm gonna say it. I don't think I know Angel Reese if I don't know Caitlin Clark. I don't know who Angel Reese is without Caitlin Clark.
Exactly.
And I can say I don't know who Caitlin. I can't say I don't know who Caitlin Clark is without Angel Reese. You know what I'm saying? So I think one of them made another one, and I don't think she's the professor. I think she's more of a Frankenstein. I think that's.
I like that.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark made her.
She's gonna if we ever blow up.
I don't know if I would say that.
Not out of my mouth.
I'm saying storylines. I'm not saying how good of a player she is. I'm saying more of like the narrative. I think that can sell.
Legally, we have to
But
say
we
this.
are watching because of Caitlyn at the end of the day. And I
Sorry.
think they just have to accept it. You know what I mean? And listen, do what you got to do, man. Because at the end of the day, these girls are being smart. I'm gonna rough her up because I'm gonna be on the camera.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be talking about me for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get a random endorsement deal.
Because now I know
from,
Candy Carter. I've never heard of her
from
before.
Icy Hot because I heard her. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of stuff that matters. You know what I mean? So like, listen, do your thing, whatever you gotta do, but at least be honest about it. You know what I mean? Like, listen, just say it out loud. Like, we're not gonna let this little white girl come over and take over. Say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, stop talking about, oh, we're just doing our job. Or no, just say what you mean. Say what you're trying to do.
What did Pat
You're trying to
McAfee
send
say?
a message.
Do you remember what Pat
No,
McAfee
I'm not gonna say what.
No,
I'll put it up on the screen.
He's
though,
an
Pat
avid
McAfee.
Fever fan too.
Yeah, he said something a little inappropriate
Oh,
for our
wow.
podcast.
Yeah.
on TV?
You know what I like about
His thing is like rated R though.
Yeah, he takes his shirt off and everything.
You know what else?
What?
What?
He's a WWE announcer. Sorry,
Really?
keep going.
I didn't know that. Another thing that's also dope about all this, like this WNBA hype, it's also seeing like all the stars be at her game. Like that's my thing. Like these people, like Tyrese Halliburton, even though he's from there, but I'm saying like these, like I wouldn't be surprised if we caught LeBron at a Caitlin Clark game this year.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Like,
we haven't.
Really, I think he's been busy podcasting, but you know,
Or
shit,
even
yeah,
a Sparks
they're-
game.
Yeah, like
He's
I don't
probably in
think.
Mexico right now.
Yeah, he's training right now. He already kind of locked in.
Cancun on 3.
Poor guy. I think kind of to go back on Nas's point with everything, kind of just end this one. When it comes to what they're doing and how they're going about it is totally wrong. The NBA got bigger once they started embracing these young kids. Once they started teaching these young kids how to save your money, how to be a superstar, how to be a role player. I'm not saying that it's not there, but we're not getting to see that side, and that's the side we like about the NBA. We like rivalries, but we also like to see, camaraderie. I feel like at the end of the day, I think when I used to see Kobe lose and still shake people's hands, Michael Jordan lose, still shake people's hands. I think,
I noticed I
love
don't
that.
see that much. I
don't
don't
have that no more.
At the end of the games, I don't see them really talk to one another
Yeah.
either. They
Yeah.
go straight to their tunnels.
Yeah,
It's a very different type of sport.
It is, because those are the people who would shake your hands with the same people that would knock you out the air and hurt you and be trying to hurt you.
And
all
then right
game.
after, they apologize,
Yeah.
like, hey, we're just playing.
Yeah, and that's my favorite basketball, I think.
Talking about that really quick before we go forward, and it kind of goes on to the Caitlin Clark thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember Lonzo's rookie year? How
Oh,
many times he
bro,
getting banged up
Patrick
like this?
Beverley, bro.
Patrick Beverley, bro. Everyone was
Yeah.
attacking him. Do you think Caitlin Clark is on that same level of hype as Lonzo?
Lonzo was hype. Lonzo was probably one of the biggest players to come to the NBA next to
I think she's bigger than Lonzo was.
Bigger?
I don't know,
100%.
bro. I watched college basketball again because of Lonzo.
Lonzo didn't come to the NBA to change anything. He was just a hype player from college, but he
Yeah.
wasn't here to change the game or how the game is played. He
Yeah.
was just a
But
really
he was
hyped player.
supposed to be a generational talent.
Supposed to be Steph Curry with a 40-inch vertical.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
I never heard that one.
I heard that a lot.
I got Jason Kidd vibes from him.
No, Lonzo was never supposed to change the game. He was just a
No.
really hyped player and everything, and because of that, he was a superstar in college.
He was a big
he
point
was-
guard, too.
So he was Hollywood before. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
Hollywood.
He was at UCLA. You know what I mean? So like
Went to the biggest.
when he came to the NBA, he came to the Lakers. So all that dragged, and players just had to kind of
Played at Chino
assert
Hills,
themselves.
too.
Played at Chino
a
Hills.
big high school program, huge high school program.
So I think it's the same level of treatment, but
Yeah.
I would say Caitlin Clark is definitely a bigger,
yeah,
how can I say, a prospect or a game changer than Lonzo was.
she's more impactful for her situation.
Yeah, she's changing the league.
Yeah,
like,
literally giving these girls
she's
charter
flying
flights.
these girls out. Literally, like,
She's like a rapper.
Bro,
huh?
She's like a rapper. Finding
Right,
girls
she's
out.
flying.
bro.
And
She's probably richer than most of the girls there.
she is
She's
richer
a
than every
$25 million
NBA player in the
shoe
league
deal.
right now. Easily.
She's richer than probably 3 women NBA players put together.
$25 million shoe deal already. And
She's
got NIL money.
she's making more money than like some of the 7th best players in the NBA.
She's making more money
on
than
their
me.
team.
I'll tell you for sure.
Yeah.
She's making a lot more money than me.
I'm trying to get flew out by a woman NBA player once y'all contracts here, right?
Man, the sideline cheering.
That's my girl.
All right, but moving on from the WNBA topic,
Yeah.
a couple side notes of things that have happened or that I've seen. JJ Redick is the front runner for the Lakers
Yeah.
job. The more I hear about it, the more I am interested in seeing how it works out.
I like it a lot more now.
I was not a believer. However, I do like what they are doing around JJ. Well, I don't think they are doing it. I think
Yeah.
he's doing the actively looking for a staff that will
As he
assist him.
should.
My only concern, so I'll say some of the names just for the heck of it. They're interviewing James Borrego for the head coaching job, and
Played for the
the
Hornets, right?
conversation is if he doesn't get the job, they're trying to nab him as an assistant coach because apparently they really liked him. They were impressed by him in the interviews. Jared Dudley, which I don't know what his coaching acumen is,
Real
but
quick, to Nas, I don't mean to cut you off. A lot of those coaches that end up teaching a coach how to coach. Steve Kerr had what's his name? The dude who coaches the Kings now.
Mike Woodson,
Brown.
He
Mike
had
Brown.
Mike Brown.
Who's Mike Woodson?
That is a person.
Well,
that is a
Coach-
person,
person,
right?
Coach Woodson was on the staff too. That's actually
I believe
very
it.
true.
I don't know where
Yeah.
I got that name from, but
No,
go ahead.
but I think when those coaches don't get the opportunity with the team they want to go and they take that assistant role, they're able to kind of navigate to another head coaching job somewhere and actually like find somewhere and build
Bro, look at Coach
talent.
Bud. Bud came
Yeah.
from Pop.
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the players, a lot of the NBA coaches who get that second chance usually isn't at a head coaching gig. It's going to be an assistant gig. So kind of just going on that point, I think it's smart that they're doing that. They're grabbing a head coach to be an assistant coach because he can give him kind of like a skeleton of this is how you could possibly be successful as a coach. So continue, my bad.
Yeah, they're going for Scott Brooks too. And then
wow.
the rumor is they're trying to make Rondo an assistant coach.
That's a super coach.
Did you hear about Coach K today?
No, I don't
Coach
know.
K's gonna be helping out JJ Redick.
Oh yeah, he's an advisor or whatever. Yeah, he was already an advisor for the Lakers, I believe.
Yeah, but he's specifically helping out because they've been trying to get him to the role, but he's 77, I think.
He's
Yeah, he's
already-
older than Pop, and
And
Pop
he-
looks ancient.
and he never wanted to coach at the NBA level. Coach K never did.
Now with the money they're paying him at Duke, they're paying him
Yeah.
way more than the NBA would ever consider paying him. So.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I like what they're doing. So I'm interested. The podcast has shown that he seems to have a basketball
LeBron respects
IQ.
him.
I don't know how much of that is scripted and how much of that is genuine.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's genuine basketball IQ. And we'll see. My biggest concern is what direction are they going to go? Are they looking to? Do they believe a new coach will use our players in a better way, or do they believe that they need to get a new coach plus upgrade the players that we have? That's what I'm interested in. What are they going to do? I think the upgrade is necessary. I think certain players are not. I just don't think it's a good idea to try them out again.
Yeah.
I think we can upgrade Cam Reddish. I think we can upgrade Jackson Hayes. I think
I
maybe
think Jackson Hayes needs a bigger role.
I think you bring back Hayes.
I
Though.
think we
I
trade
think
him.
he's Poor's man, JaVale McGee, and we saw what he did with that Lakers team. He
I
was
don't think
good
he's-
shot blocker.
I think his basketball IQ is very low. I don't think he fits
JaVale McGee.
a player like LeBron James. JaVale McGee sounds dumb. No, JaVale McGee seems like a dumb person, but like he
got
plays
better throughout the
smart
years.
basketball.
Yeah, he got
Ever
better.
since the Warriors, he's
Yeah,
Because on the Wizards,
on the
and
Wizards he
that
was an
makes sense,
idiot.
trash.
Yeah, he would shoot threes.
But ever since the Warriors, he's learned how to play a role and how to do everything
he
the
knows
right
his
way.
role. Yeah.
You know, so like I don't know. Jackson Hayes just doesn't seem like like he's developed enough to contribute to championship basketball. That's just my opinion. I think we can upgrade there. I think we can upgrade Cam Reddish. I think we can trade Rui. It's not
You need a
needed.
center.
It's not needed, but we could trade Rui potentially to nab us a center somewhere. But I think the options are there. I like it more than I used to. I'll say that. My take was different in the past.
Yeah.
But the more and more I listen to it, the more and more I explore my open-mindedness, it's possible that it might work out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
What would you rate it from like A to F?
From A to F,
The higher.
it's like
It's not. You can't
it's like
judge
a
it
B
yet, I
minus,
feel like.
C plus, just because we
Yeah.
just don't know. You know what I
I need
mean?
to see the product. Like I'm like
Yeah.
with you.
I think it's not the same like as Steve Nash, because like Steve Nash was a high IQ player that we are
Yeah.
fully aware is one of the biggest brains basketball has
And we
ever
thought it
seen.
would transition seamlessly.
Yeah,
but
so
it
when
didn't.
you see a player like that being added, you would instantly think that's an A plus. It's got to work out. It's Steve Nash, he's so smart, he's such a great player, you know. Because JJ is not that caliber of a player, you know what I mean? So like, I'd have
That's
to say
usually
that-
what does work. The role players. Though.
well the
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was telling
Yeah.
somebody. The role players tend to succeed more than the actual star
Yeah.
players. So we'll see.
But my take on that is like one, like I think with the Lakers, I think the decision they're making is we're gonna count on a rookie ex NBA player. Again, a lot of these players, like Jason Kidd, was fed the Bucks position, right? He walked right into it. Steve Nash was fed the Nets position. He would walk right into it. I think what makes JJ Redick a good hire. Once he's had 5 interviews with LeBron already. If you watch the podcast. Those that's. I mean, if you ever want to see how your player interacts with someone, maybe let them start a podcast with a potential coach, and we'll see how it goes. But my last take on it is, with the fit, because I didn't know too much about who he's hiring to work with him, because that's big. having a good staff is big.
Yeah.
But it's also like what Nas is saying. Like, with a new coach usually comes like a different system, a different way of going about things. It's not a total revamp because they'll take the things that worked. But he's a 3-point shooter. Steve Kerr, another player coach who he has the same path, more like JJ Redick, where he announced, he got to watch it, he got to see how it's all done, and that's the best. They compared him to Pat Riley, but I'll compare him to Steve Kerr, which in his own right is probably a top 5 NBA coach ever now.
He deserves to be up there.
Yeah. So I think the reason it'll work is because he's kind of taking that same route. Like, he got to watch it, he got to talk about it all the time, and then he has his own endeavors, and he really loves basketball. And as a Lakers fan, LeBron fan mostly, but anybody who loves basketball, I'm just like, I've never watched JJ Redick's podcast. I never cared about, even when he was with Stephen A. Smith, I never cared about his takes. Now I literally watch the podcast. I think he's one of the smarter guys. And you never get that, watching him. You don't think he's, I had all these plays ran for me, but he's got like that same type of memory LeBron does, where he can remember it, not like LeBron the first time, but he can be there mind-wise. And I think the last person to really challenge LeBron's mind was Tyronn Lue. And then also, he didn't like Eric Spoelstra, but Eric Spoelstra. So, like I said, it all depends on how they go about it. But yeah, I think it could be a good fit. It has all the makings of being a great fit if they do get those hires as well.
It has all the makings of being a great fit or a disaster.
Devil's advocate.
And I can almost guarantee you that this offseason they trade the rest of the Lakers' future away to fill in the rest of the holes. And
hope not.
They're going to have to be paying, 3 coaches next year if this doesn't work out again.
Yeah. Oh, rumor mill real quick. Clint Capella has been a very big player they want to try to get.
Bad idea. Look how many games he's played in the last 4 seasons.
Yeah. I'm saying too, but he fits, like AD wants to go back to the 4.
Yeah, he fits, but he has to play. That's the issue.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it gets scary.
I think we pursue Nicholas Claxton. I think I like that, but because he's a restricted free agent, that'll be difficult. But
throw some dollars on him.
Overall, I like the JJ hiring more just because if he's interviewing, like you said, he's not walking into the position, so there's something he's doing to convince them, and I'm curious to know what that is, what is he telling them? What are the questions that they ask in these interviews? It has to be things around, what would you do with our roster? What do you think we need to improve? What would you do in this scenario? What would you have done last season? Different.
And he's doing that with LeBron literally on the show. Like that's the thing that people aren't picking up. Like, this is not a show. This is an interview. Once he gets hired, the show is done.
What happens if he gets hired?
Imagine a bad day at practice and then you gotta go do a podcast.
I think LeBron will keep it, but he'll probably find a different co-host.
Yeah, but it's hard to find
I think it's unethical to have a podcast with your coach. It's too much favoritism.
Exactly, that'd be wild.
Imagine like a bad practice and now you got to go podcast for your coach.
Because they will have to talk about the game at some point.
That's the thing though. Like, is LeBron ever going to be the problem in those situations? So like JJ and LeBron are never going to be.
We'll see. This is when we find out. Yeah,
LeBron has been having bad games, unfortunately.
Bad games are. But it's LeBron. No coach has ever looked at LeBron and said, "Oh, you played bad. Fuck you." You know what I mean? It's always like, "Oh, okay, it's LeBron. He'll do better next time."
25. You can't teach the 25, 6, and 7 consistently across the
board. At 39.
Yeah,
bro. Like that. You can't coach that. That's happening night in and night out. Like without even with 12 shots, 13 shots a game. Like.
On that same note, on JJ Redick, I just watched him on the show. Not him, literally.
His twin brother.
His twin brother.
Not this time.
The show Clipped. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch it, but
don't.
It's interesting for the story itself. So like, if you just want to hear the story and hear what they gotta say, it's cool because I feel like they're gonna reveal a lot of things that could be true, could be lies, but I feel like they're gonna reveal a lot of things that happen in that Clipper organization. But that show is about the Clippers and the Donald Sterling era. It picks up right when they hired Doc Rivers. And it's 2 episodes in, and none of those actors look like any basketball player I've ever seen in my life. They got the guy from P-Valley.
Which one? Murda? Little Murda?
Murda.
Who is he playing? CP3?
He's playing CP3, yeah.
He gets suspend
I
immediately.
guess it's the only person he can play other than Jamal Crawford.
And then they got a whole bunch of randoms playing, but they got all the players. They got an actor for everybody: Matt Barnes, Jamal Crawford, JJ Redick.
I gotta watch this.
They
I
got
wish they had Blake Griffin playing Blake Griffin. I think that'd be funny.
that
He's
would
an
be
actor.
funny.
He is an actor. Yeah.
But it's hard to describe. I won't say that. But you guys tune in. Let us know what you think, man. Watch it. Come back to the episode and hit up the comments and let us know what do you think. 1 out of 10, what would you rate it? I would say the plot is interesting. One plot that I didn't. Well, it's not a plot, but it's something that they mentioned that I was curious about. According to the show, Blake Griffin and Chris Paul did not like each other. I also did not realize, or I did realize, but I didn't remember, that Doc Rivers wasn't even their first coach during the Lob City era. I completely forgot that. I only attribute it was Vinny Del Negro.
That guy. Yeah.
I only attribute Lob City to Doc Rivers for some reason. I realized he was there for like 2 years.
He also
Yeah, it
coached
wasn't that long,
the
like-
Bulls too. He coached the Bulls before they got D Rose. I don't know if you guys remember that.
The Negro or
He coached the Bulls. Yeah.
Vinny Del Negro, yeah.
I thought you were talking about Doc Rivers. I was like, what?
Nah, he coached, I think he coached.
Doc Rivers was coach of the year with the Magic.
Yeah.
He coached Tracy McGrady.
He's also
they had
recently
a-
get Tim Duncan.
They had a 42-42 record.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But that was much better than the record they had before. So I think that's why. But that's what,
41. It's 41-41.
He just keeps failing up. I want his life.
well, y'all tune in.
Coach. Yeah, to fill up.
Y'all tune in and let us know what you think about the show, man. It's funny, said to say the least, but maybe it's not supposed to be though. That's it for episode 7. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment, give us your takes, let us know what you think, give us some feedback. We love it. Once again, shout out Kiera for giving us this spot here today.
Shout
Love
out
the
Big
setup.
Dog here.
What you said, Big Dog Kiera?
Big Dog here.
Man,
Big Dog, shout out Big Dog
don't
Kiera.
listen to that real fast, please.
Y'all gotta make sure you follow her and support her, man. Thank her for giving us this little spot, man. But once again, that's it for Hoop Talk, the podcast, episode 7. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let's check it up, man. We're done.
Let's go.
Deuces.